Hi everyone, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Um, we're gonna be reviewing Zoey 102 today. I'm both excited and I'm just excited. Because I really like this movie, but I'm also, I guess, nervous because there's so much negative things attached to this movie, and I hate that I liked it so much, and I wish that I could criticize it a lot more based on what's been going on, and I totally support that cause. But of course, this movie, I said before in my trailer reactions that I was gonna watch it because it's linked to my childhood, and I feel like I owe myself that. I've been waiting for decades to watch revivals like this, and to have our two favorite characters and lovebirds unite. Well, again, but the story to go on, and I wish it were not under these circumstances. I already addressed it in my first video. I don't want to go too much into it again. If you know, you know. This review is purely on the movie, not my thoughts on the actors, not my thoughts on the whole thing that happened, because I already shared my thoughts on that, and I don't want it to be messy. I just want whoever is watching this video to know what they're expecting when watching the movie, if they choose to watch the movie, and if they enjoyed it, to come here and just enjoy the nostalgia feeling with me. And that is it. Okay, that being said, it was a very good movie. I thought it was gonna be way different. I think that whenever they bring back your favorite characters in some way, you are so nervous that they're gonna mess something up, and I think they did pretty well. I just kind of keeping things they grew so much, but at the same time, they it still had the feel of Nickelodeon. It still had the feel of Zoey, and I really liked that. I think Mark and Stacy were by far my favorite characters, which is funny because I think those two are the ones that grew the most, and I kind of missed how they used to be. But at the same time, I was so in awe by how they grew up, how they ended up together. I would have liked to known their story. I was just like, what? And then the fact that Mark, I mentioned before, I'm like, why is he here? He's Quinn's ex, and this is her wedding, and they're friends, and everything is good, and Logan is just bonding with him, and I'm just like, cool beans. And yeah, I mean, I wish that we had Victoria Justice or more characters from before, because there was this one scene where Chase's girlfriend date, because they had broken up before then apparently, so she did something very similar to Zoey. He did something very similar to Zoey, and they were talking, and he was like, oh, this is my friend from high school. And then she's like, oh, and then she starts listing basically everyone that's not there. And I'm just like, now you're making me miss them. Great. I would have liked to known what was going on with Lola. We found out what was happening with Justin, and that he has kids and twins on the way, and I'm just like, what? Okay. I would never have thought that he would have been having kids, and I thought he would have just been into music or something, very more Dustin-ish. But that's not the case. Michael ended up being a producer. I don't know what happened to Lisa. I would have liked Lisa there, but it's okay. I just would have liked more of the original cast, even if we were just gonna have more side characters, Stacy and Mark. That would have been fine. Just more. There was 4 of them, and I'm like, come on. There was so many more. It didn't feel like a full cast. And then there was these 2 random people that I don't know where they were from. I assume that they were from college or something. But I don't know. They were just random to me. And I was right. I was happy that Quinn was this big time boss lady who invented technology and everything, and I was just so proud of her. The only thing was, I was like, why, okay, Logan kind of owed it to her to be kind of more to be the supportive, I guess, boyfriend who did everything for her and understood everything for her, understood everything that she was doing for herself. and like totally supportive. But I feel like we didn't have Logan because of that. They mentioned many times that, he grew and he changed, but I miss kind of parts of old Logan, like the snarkiness, the sarcasm, just like a little bit, like, it could have been like just toned down a bit to show that he had grown. Like he didn't have to make fun of Quinn, obviously. Like, so I kind of just wanted that, like, how he talked to her, like in the last couple of like episodes when he was in a relationship with her. I really liked that. So I kind of wanted that because then he kind of fell flat for me and he kind of ended up being a background character. Even though this was their wedding. And then obviously Chase and Zoey were going to end up back together. What happened in Hawaii? I don't know. Apparently he was left on the island and that was it. And I was just like, so what, wait, like did she like not go? Did you end up spending the summer with her significant family member that supposed family member that like she was supposed to go with, or like was the trip canceled? Like what happened in Hawaii? Like literally I thought we were gonna like lead up to it and she was just like they were talking and he was left there and I was just like what happened? How was he left there? How did he get onto the island? How did you not? And then like this was like right like the summer after they got back together, after everything that happened. And then like she was just like, oh, I just thought like it was gonna be easy, like, just to kind of drift apart because that's what we always ended up doing and like avoiding it and like not being together. And I was just like, what? Like at that point, you two were endgame. Like you went through all of this, you broke up with your boyfriend, the whole England thing, and like how, like why, like there needs to be some other excuse. There was something else. There had to be, like, because that didn't make sense. Like people, that was the only thing that did not make sense in this movie. So that was the only thing that was very disappointing. I wish like something else had happened. That just made more sense. And then, like, we see in the trailer, Zoey gets a fake boyfriend to kind of make Chase jealous a little bit. I was going to say Trace. And Chase essentially does the same thing with his ex-girlfriend, who they were together, they were serious, but then she broke up with him, and he asked her, hey, can you come to the wedding with me? So he wouldn't come alone. Of course, Zoey. Like, and the car, honestly, if it wasn't for the car locking, they wouldn't have like rekindled anything. And I think that Chase just kind of avoiding her, like I'm sorry, after everything Chase went through with her and the fact that like she still didn't like acknowledge him, or like she had said when they were like going to pick up Quinn and Logan's rings that like she had always had a crush on him. I'm like, but the fact that you put him through all that, I'm sorry, he had every right to be mad. I was mad that he was mad, but I was just like bro, like he went through a lot and you just kind of left him. I mean, you left him in Hawaii, so of course he's mad at you. Apparently they were all like in Miami and living there. Chase was in Baltimore for some reason, so he wasn't like in the videos and the Instagram stories when she was looking through them. And I don't know what I pictured their professions being. Chase being a teacher fits pretty well, but Zoey working like on a love reality show, like it also works, but it just wasn't what I didn't have any expectations, but I just didn't think that was it. There was just something missing. And then like she has to work during Quinn's wedding and she has to like babysit like this older guy. There was a lot of like really funny like random things happening and it felt very like old-fashioned Nickelodeon, and I really liked that. And then like Stacy and Mark with their whole like murderer podcast was everything, and the fact that she just kind of messed up the whole wedding because she was accusing Todd, and then Todd ended up being like the guy in the end, and I'm like, who did he take? Like it felt very Nickelodeon. And I don't know what Mark's lead was, that he supposedly got the picture that this was the guy. And then like I didn't really like Mark and State. I like them as individuals and when they were like kind of like sleuthing together, but the fact that like Tracy treated him so like tossed to the side, like he like was all there for her, supporting her, and she was just like, no, did I say Tracy? And she was like, oh, it's a feminist thing and blah blah this, and I'm just like, you're treating him like garbage, like the poor guy. And then when he was like, oh, the murderer could be here, I'm like, you go, Mark, you put your foot down, and sleuthy kind of way, yes. But yeah, I think that they were just so cute. And sometimes I was just like, why are you treating him like that? But they were still my favorite. And I would have loved like a side movie or something to like know how these two got together, because I'm just like, oh, like this is not what I was expecting. I mean, when you saw the poster, you saw them together. I'm like, I guess they're together. But I'm not sure. I don't even know that was the color of the bridesmaids' dresses, to be honest. I didn't know Logan had a sister. Did I miss that episode? And then, like, I think that for the rest of them, each of their professions, other than Logan just has money to have money, like, kind of made sense for them. And yeah, Todd in that bar scene was the one I think that I was kind of like fearing the most, because Logan, like, I was shown Logan, I talked about this in the other trailer reaction, and he was like, yeah, PCA baby, and it just was like, that did not seem like Logan. At that point in the movie, like, I see what that scene was for, although again, I stand by what I said about Logan. Like, he did not seem like Logan until the end when they were in PCA, and oh my goodness, what happened with PCA, I was just like, they did not, what, how? Like, it was just so random. And so, like, we're gonna get back to that, but like, basically the whole like scene was to kind of like explain they had all men in high school and everything, and what happened to PCA, and the fact that like Dean Rivers literally like went to gamble the money like that these parents were paying for tuition. And, like, I always wanted to go to PCA when I was a kid. I didn't know where in the world there was, like, a PCA type school. Like, it seemed like a college to me. And I thought they started in middle school, and I was right. They started in middle school. I don't know how they have student loans from the school. I assume it's from, like, their parents paying for it. But, like, the money, like, basically he gambled it away. And, like, I was like, how were things being paid for? Why was this school so fancy? Like, the money must have been used. But it just kind of felt like, okay, and it was laughable, and it was believable in some way, because it kind of fit with, like, the whole, like, Nickelodeon vibe, but, like, I was just like, man, okay. But yeah, when they went back to PCA, and Logan had, like, his little shirt, and then Quinn got married in her lab coat, and I was like, this is everything to me, like, I love this. And then, like, they were playing Starships, and I was like, yes, everything. Like, PCA was a ghost town, and I loved it. And, like, the fact that, like, it was just kind of still there, they made it this kind of rustic kind of wedding, and, like, this whole, like, reminiscent kind of feel. Like, it was so... It was great. It brought me back to my childhood, and, like, it kind of made everything full circle. It was great. It was great. And I like that we got to meet Quinn's, like, parents. I don't know if that was her dad walking her. I assume it was her dad. We didn't get to really meet her dad, but we got to meet, like, her grandma and, like, her mom, which was really nice. And, yeah, I just thought it was a really good movie. There were some things where I was just like, that doesn't make sense. But, like, it still felt very Nickelodeon to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think just kind of the funniness of Zoey having to go back and forth, and then, like, Quinn is outside her window. There were so many Easter eggs. Quinn is outside her window. And Logan comes out, and he's, like, talking to her. And, like, the balloons were so cute. And then they, like, shout that they love each other like they did in, like, the prom episode. And I was just like, oh my god. And then Chase literally running into poles again when he's seen Zoey. And then the last one, he's like, I got it. And I'm like, yes, Chase, you got it. So I just thought, like, it was a great movie. Chase seems so much more nerdy to me. It was just like so cute. And like I just kept looking at him like I missed the bushy hair. But yeah, I would have liked more like interaction with him and Michael. I really missed that. And then also since the wedding party was so small, like I mean the guests weren't like it was huge, but like the immediate like bridal party, like why would they put Zoey and Chase walking down the like I don't get that. Like you know that they have their beef with one another. At least Chase has his beef with her. Like why would you do that? And then they're like, "Okay, we're walking." I'm just like this is just made for us to feel very uncomfortable because this doesn't make sense. Okay. Um and I think that just yeah, it was so humorous, so good that I don't have many critiques on it. But I like the new characters. They fit well. Todd made me laugh. And I really like Zoe's boss, even though at times I was just like, dude, you're annoying me. But like he fit very well. He very much reminded me of like Coco at times. Just kind of random and all over the place. And yeah, I think that everything that was going on the set of Zoe's job, which is so random, so all over the place, but it was like okay, like it felt very much like a Zoe 101 like episode. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Um Thank you so much for watching. I hope that in you watching this movie, you felt as satisfied as I did, and were brought back to that nostalgic time. It felt very much like a long, like, Zoey 101 episode. And I think that just, like, how they grew in this movie, was very like they were adults, you know, they were figuring things out and everything, and it felt very natural. They didn't feel like kids like, anymore, but like you still had that feeling of, like I said, nostalgia, and it was all just so great. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all soon. Bye.